Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody out there in YouTube land? Welcome back to the village. We're happy to have you here at 5959 online. All right, let's try that again. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody out there in YouTube land? Welcome back to the village. We're happy to have you here at 5959 online. And a special welcome to my friends at Emmanuel Congregation, our mothership. If you've been celebrating Passover, then you know that we're in Chol HaMoed, the intermediate days. And so I say to you, Mo'adim L'Simcha. Mo'adim L'Simcha. May these middle days of Passover be joyful. Can you say Mo'adim L'Simcha? Mo'adim L'Simcha. Mo'adim L'Simcha. So, welcome to Storytime Live. I'm Rabbi Craig, and I have some songs and a story for you, all Passover related. So first, let's try a little ditty, a little chestnut. I probably learned this song before I was even 5 years old. I'm a little bit older than 5 years old, but I still remember the song. One morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere. All right, how about some hand signals, a cappella style? One morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs on his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere. How about Elvis style? One morning when Pharaoh woke in his bed, there were frogs in his bed and frogs in his head, frogs on his nose and frogs on his toes. Frogs here, frogs there, frogs were jumping everywhere. Love me tender. Just kidding. All right. So now for a special story, I'm going to read you a story entitled Toby Belfer's Seder, Passover story retold. It's written by Gloria Tellis Pushker, illustrated by Judith Hierstein. I met Mrs. Pushker way back in 1995 when I was a rabbinic intern at Gates of Prayer in Metairie, Louisiana, near New Orleans. And Mrs. Pushker gave me this book, which she also autographed. Would you like to see the autograph? Look at that. Autographed by Mrs. Pushker. I will never forget Mrs. Pushker's generosity. One day she let me borrow her car so I could drive it from New Orleans all the way to Henry S. Jacobs Camp in Utica, Mississippi. That's Mississippi. Utica, Mississippi. And I had a lot of fun there. And then I drove the car back to Louisiana, listened to a lot of blues music. It was good fun. And I chose Mrs. Pushker's book and this very special story because I learned that Mrs. Pushker passed away in February of 2020, not long ago. And I'm very sad to hear that news. She was 93 years old. She lived a long life, very long life. But while we read this book, I would like to make sure that we make Gloria's memory for a wonderful blessing, and reading her story, which I believe is autobiographical, will help us remember her and remind us of how special that she was and remains in our hearts. So let's read. Toby Belfer's Seder, a Passover story retold by Gloria Tellis-Pushker, illustrations by Judith Hierstein. Toby Belfer's Seder. Toby Belfer and Donna Barker were best friends. They lived next door to each other in a small South Louisiana town. They shared the same birthday and sat next to each other in school. Toby and Donna played tricks on each other as best friends often do. They did everything together except go to school, a Sunday school, that is. Toby was Jewish and went to Sunday school at the synagogue in the next town. Donna was Christian and went to the church Sunday school nearby. It came as no surprise then when one spring day the Belfers invited the Barkers for Passover Seder. "What shall I wear?" asked Donna. "Anything you want," answered Toby. Show you the picture. Toby's grandparents from the city soon arrived with their cars full of goodies for the delicious Seder meal they were going to help prepare. They even brought Haggadot with them. A Haggadah is a special book that tells the story of Passover with songs, rhymes, and symbols and gives the order of the Seder. Each person at the Seder has one to read. Toby and Donna greeted Toby's grandparents with lots of hugs and kisses. As the girls helped with the packages, Donna said, "I've been invited for Seder too. What shall I wear?" "You can wear your Easter dress," replied grandmother. Everyone works hard getting ready for Passover. There is lots of cooking and spring cleaning to be done. Small pieces of bread are placed throughout the house and collected again. This is known as ridding the house of chametz. During Passover, we don't eat bread or bread products. It should not even be in the house for the 8 days of Passover, explained Toby. Donna and Toby helped set the long table with beautiful china, crystal, and silverware used only at Passover time. They set an extra silver wine goblet out for the prophet Elijah. According to legend, Elijah is the messenger of peace who visits every home where the Seder is held. So we have grandmother there to my left, to your right, and we have Toby and Donna on the right, your left. Everything on the Seder table has special meaning. A beautiful Seder platter is placed at the head of the table. On it is karpas, a sprig of fresh parsley to represent the green of springtime, maror, a little horseradish to remind us of the bitterness of slavery, charoset, a mixture of chopped apples, nuts, cinnamon, and a few drops of wine. This mixture represents the bricks that the slaves made to build the pyramids for the Egyptian pharaoh. Also on the Seder platter is the Pesach, a roasted shank bone to remember the sacrifice of the Paschal lamb made in ancient days, and beitzah, a hard-boiled egg that represents the continuity of life. Next to the Seder platter is a separate plate with 3 pieces of matzah. Sound familiar so far? This is the unleavened bread Jewish people eat instead of regular bread during the Passover season. Each matzah is placed in the folds of a lovely napkin, specially decorated with the symbols of Passover. Toby made hers in Sunday school. Oh, that sounds fun. Have you ever done that before? Father will hide half of the middle matzah, called afikomen, for the children to find later. How many people love looking for the afikomen? How many people love, even better, finding the afikomen and getting a special prize? I do. For everyone on smaller plates are some horseradish, charoset, parsley, egg, and matzah. There's also a small cup of salt water. Wonder what we use that for. Well, we will dip the karpas, the parsley, representing springtime, into the salt water and eat it to remember the tears shed by our ancestors when they were slaves in the land of Egypt. explained Toby. Now, now that the table was set, Toby walked Donna home to get dressed. But what shall I wear? Donna asked, worried. Without a hint or smile that she was only joking, Toby said, my little cousins, who recite the 4 questions, always wear white sheets. Donna thought about it and decided that's what she wanted to wear too. When the Barkers arrived at the Belfer's house in time for Seder, Donna was dressed in her lovely pink Easter dress, but she was holding a fresh, white, starched and ironed sheet. She said she hadn't known how to put it on herself, so she brought it folded. Donna brought a sheet because Toby tricked her, made a funny joke. Still without a hint that she was only joking, Toby wrapped the sheet over Donna's shoulder and around her like a toga, and what was left over, she draped over Donna's head. Donna looked beautiful, just like someone from ancient days, but no one else was wearing a sheet. Donna laughed and laughed when she realized that Toby had played a trick on her. Her little pink Easter dress was darling, and she was dressed in very good taste without the sheet. Crisis averted. When all the friends and relatives arrived from far and near, everyone was seated at the beautiful table. The Seder was about to begin. Toby's papa, as her grandpa was affectionately called, and her father sat at opposite ends of the table with a pillow behind their backs. This night they were allowed to lean on their elbows because in ancient days this was the position of free people. Mrs. Belfer lit the holiday candles, held up her hands, and said a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel yom tov. Amen. Blessed art thou, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has commanded us to kindle the lights of Passover. Amen. Then they all lifted the first of 4 cups of wine. The children had grape juice. Mr. Belfer said, with song and story and the symbols of the Seder, let us renew the memory of our past. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Blessed are you, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who created the fruit of the vine. All drank the first cup of wine and grape juice. He also said, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, O eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who gave us life, sustained us, and brought us to this happy season of Passover. Everyone read together, for lo, the winter's past, and the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on earth, the time of singing is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard. The voice of the turtle dove, that is heard in the land, from the Song of Songs. Papa then lifted the plate of matzah and said, this is the bread of affliction, eaten by our ancestors when they were slaves in Egypt. Let us all who are hungry come and eat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who commanded us to eat unleavened bread. Toby's little cousins asked the 4 questions. This is a special role for the youngest present. They had practiced a long time to get the Hebrew right. Ma nishtana halayla hazeh mikol halelot, mikol halelot. Why is this night different from all other nights? On all other nights we eat bread or matzah. Why on this night do we only eat matzah? On all other nights, we eat any kind of herbs. Why on this night do we eat especially bitter herbs like horseradish? On all other nights, we do not eat haroset. Why on this night do we eat haroset? And why do we dip greens in salt water? On all nights, we sit upright at the table. Why on this night may we lean? Then came the story of Passover and some answers to the questions. More than 3,000 years ago, the Jewish people lived in a land called Egypt. At that time, there ruled a cruel Pharaoh who made slaves of the Israelites as the Jews were known. They worked from morning until night making bricks to build the pyramids. Now in Egypt lived an Israelite man named Moses. When Moses saw how badly the Jews were being treated, he felt great pity and wanted to help them. Then God called Moses and his brother Aaron to Pharaoh to ask him to free the Israelites. Pharaoh refused. Instead, he ordered his taskmasters to work them even harder. That is not nice. Slavery is an awful thing. I'm glad that our people got out of slavery. We still have people who are enslaved. They're not paid any wages. They're trafficked. They are not treated like human beings. We have to stop trafficking. We have to stop human slavery. Because Pharaoh would not obey, God sent 10 plagues upon the Egyptian people, and every Egyptian home suffered. These troubles passed over the homes of the Jews. That is why the Bible calls this holiday Passover. Pharaoh became convinced after the 10th plague, and he gave up at last. When Pharaoh said that the slaves could go free to worship their God, they had to hurry and pack up as quickly as possible. They couldn't take very much with them. They put the dough for their bread on boards and carried them on their backs. The hot sun baked the dough, and instead of rising as usual, the bread took on the shape of matzah. So you see, Passover celebrates the escape from Egypt and our freedom from slavery. Had God not redeemed our fathers and mothers from Egypt, our children and our children's children would have remained slaves. Father said, now we have talked about the Pesach, the matzah, and the maror. Let's the feast begin. Ooh, that's a good part. Yep, I think so. The ceremonial Passover platter was removed and dinner was served. Soup's on, everybody. Matzo ball soup, yummy. After a scrumptious meal of fish, soup, roasted lamb, vegetables, and dessert, the children searched for the afikomen. The one who finds it usually gets a prize, but Papa gave each child one to remember this wonderful Passover night. Donna was lucky because she was the one to find that little piece of matzah, so she got 2 prizes. You should have heard the cheering. Yay, Donna! But wait, it's not over yet, said Toby. We have to say grace, Birkat Hamazon. Everyone was seated at the table. More prayers of thanksgiving were said. It is customary to linger over the Passover table, singing hymns. Riddles and rhymes were said especially for the children's enjoyment. At the end, everyone said, next year in Jerusalem, Shana Haba'ah B'Yerushalayim. Donna looked puzzled. Not really, said Toby. That's just our way of wishing each other freedom and peace. That says Haggadah Shel Pesach, the Passover Haggadah. How'd you like that story? What a wonderful tale by Mrs. Pushker. I think Toby is Mrs. Pushker, and it's a good friend, Donna, with whom she was a neighbor, and they enjoyed a lot of life together and had a wonderful Seder together. So let us finish our story time live with one more song. So this one is about Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. We heard about him during the story about Toby Belfer and her friend Donna. Elijah is the one who comes through the door, brings us good tidings, and always a welcome visitor. All right, so let's sing about Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Eliyahu Agiladi, Bimhera, Bimhera Meyamenu. Sorry. Be'ayavo Eleinu. Imashiach, Imashiach, Imashiach ben David. Imashiach ben David. Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hanavi. Eliyahu Hatishbi. Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Agiladi, Eliyahu Agiladi. Moadim l'simcha b'sason. See you next time. Lehitraot. Bye-bye.